signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Gotham Chronicles Beyond the Bat Signal. I'm your host, Domenic. Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the Rogues Gallery, and uncovering all the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Before we get into today's review, I'd just like to first and foremost thank each and every one of you for listening. For those of you that are in Canada, United States, and then even in Europe, blows me away. Saudi Arabia. I know I'm missing a few, but thank you very much for tuning in. And for those of you that are new listeners, welcome. For each of you, if you would like to rate and review this show, that would go a long way to helping us be seen and heard. You can go right ahead on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And give 5 stars, as it'll help us spread the word. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you my quick review on, and this is going to be an ongoing little series of Batman The Last Halloween, issue number 1. So I picked this up the day it came out. I wanted to make sure that I got the Tim Sale cover. So I got cover A, Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. I'm not sure how I feel about that whole title sequence, and I get it that they're trying to keep it within that same universe. Why not just Batman, The Last Halloween? Anyway, I digress. This story is written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by Eduardo Risso with Dave Stewart. Now, let me just say, when they went on to say, you know what, we're going to continue this series, and this is going to be the final chapter of The Long Halloween, I know that Jeff Loeb wanted to make a point, he was a little hesitant, but this was more to commemorate Tim Sale's life, and more of a dedication to who he was. And you can clearly see it, because you look at issues 1 through 10, they're going to honor Tim Sale in their own way, but all those covers are going to be Tim Sale covers, which I love. And then you obviously have variant covers where they're going to have their own take, but each book that's released in each month, there's always going to be a different artist, which I'm looking forward to. And, to start off with Eduardo Risso with Dave Stewart, they did not disappoint. It felt just like, not that it felt just like Tim Sale, because they didn't want to replicate, but it did feel like it was within the same universe. It did have that noir feel. It did have that kind of Tim Sale style, and which I love. I wanted to go in, and I look forward when I'm reading a Long Halloween book. I can't picture anyone else but Tim Sale doing it. And although, yes, it is a different artist, you can tell. But with that said, I'm flipping through the pages right now. You can tell it fits within the same universe. This story, and I'm not going to give any spoilers because I highly recommend you go pick it up. As you know, if you couldn't tell already, I love it. The way it just starts, and I mean, wow, but with a bang. So it starts off, does not skip a beat, starting off with Two-Face, and it starts off with Two-Face and Gilda Dent. And then you also get other characters that are included in this. So you'll have little James Gordon, who's going out trick-or-treating. So it does take place on Halloween. And it's Jim Gordon and his wife Barbara. that are going out with their son. And you can tell that, you know, their marriage is taking a toll. They're struggling. And what happens next is James goes missing. And it almost sets up like, okay, well, this is what the story is going to start off being about. Is little James going trick-or-treating. And I won't reveal the costume that he's wearing, but I love it. And James goes missing. They turn their backs for 1 second. And, there's one panel where Jim just turns around, looks. He's got the umbrella just down, and you can see the shine in his glasses. And all he says is James. And I just feel like this instant sadness and fear. And of course, Halloween haunts people like Batman and Jim Gordon, given the events that have happened. Catwoman is also in this story. They include quite a few characters. And again, this issue doesn't hold back any punches. You get Dick Grayson. And I mean, that was one of the big knocks for the Dark Victory. They're like, well, is it really a Robin story? Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, you do see him in the last couple of issues, and he is Robin, but this first issue, there's no doubt you are getting Robin. And he's got a lot of learning to do. And it's a younger Robin, as you would tell. And the one thing I love that they're still incorporating is a .22 caliber gun. Not only that, they also have the pumpkin, but this one is smashed. I'm not going to reveal the ending. I will say that there's an investigation. It gives you that crime noir feel. There is frustration. You do feel for Barbara Gordon. And, she's lost her son. She has no idea what's going on. And, the stakes are high. You feel it, right? Like, this is now, it's hitting home for Jim Gordon. And his son is missing. And Batman's the one who's going to reassure him, listen, we're going to find your son. So I feel like this is going to test the relationship between Batman and Jim. It's definitely going to test the relationship between Barbara and Jim. Very curious to see where this goes. I love it that they just kind of reiterate it's another Halloween. I really can't speak enough about how they do the art. Like, it does feel like, it takes place in like that Batman universe in a way where you have the rain. It is dark. It's dim. It just feels like Gotham, right? And with Eduardo Risso, he does such a fantastic job with the art, and I'm loving it. And if you look at the other variants, like in this book, they even include the other variant issues or covers at the back. They commemorate Tim Sale. They have like a nice little, the years that he lived from 1956 to 2022, right? And then, it's more, I don't know, they have one by Jim Lee, and they have the other variant cover by Eduardo Risso. So it seems like there's going to be variant covers throughout the entire series. I assume, I haven't read this one, but I am going to assume that whoever the artist is of the book is going to most likely include a variant cover. For me, and I was listening to the Batman Book Club, highly recommend that you guys tune over and just listen to what Ryan Lauer has. You can literally listen to pick up any episode and just listen to it. It's so much fun. But he's going to stick to Tim Sale, and I was in the same boat. I was like, Tim Sale is the one who started it. It feels like the Tim Sale universe, and that's who's going to finish it. I couldn't get it any other way. Although I was so compelled and tempted to get Jim Lee, because I did love that cover. They even have like a nice little blurb about the involvement with The Last Halloween. So, there's a little one between Ariana and then Eduardo Risso. So, obviously he received a phone call from Jeff Loeb, and they kind of talk about, the process of illustrating for this comic, right? what do I give this? I'm gonna give it a letter grade. I'm gonna give it an A plus because, the whole book was just one thing after the other, and then at the ending, oh God, this ending. I can't wait for issue 2. I seriously can't wait for issue 2. You know, but yeah, I highly recommend you guys pick up this book. I am already loving it. Can't wait for issue 2. I hope there's no delays. I highly doubt that there is. But with that said, that is actually going to be all for this review. Yeah, I think that's it. And thank you very much for tuning in and listening. Share this podcast with your friends, family, whoever's into Batman or not into Batman, but might enjoy it. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to email me at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com, or you can follow along on X/Twitter at beyondbatsignal. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Beyond the Bat Signal, signing off.